Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we share our unique and universal stories about finding and fulfilling our purpose. My name is Katja, and I'm your host and spiritual mentor. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to purpose. Today, I have a pleasure to interview Morgana Rae, who is an international best-selling author and mentor coach for 25 years. She helps people who are experiencing financial anxiety. Her life-changing approach gives totally new experience of money, enabling them to make a quantum leap towards creating the wealth and abundant relationship that they deserve. So let's find more about her path, and I will also ask her best tips on how to make those quantum leaps towards creating wealth. So stay tuned. So let's get started here, and welcome, Morgana. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here.
So I introduced you very briefly. I know you are doing a lot of beautiful things here in the world. So could you tell a little bit more about you and also share where you are located so we can put you on the map?
Okay. First, it is the biggest cosmic joke in the world that I became famous and successful as this money coach, because that was my biggest area of pain and failure before. And then I had my own shift after failing at everybody else's programs. And it was actually quite a while after I had my shift before I kind of came out of the spiritual broom closet and started sharing my story and what worked for me, and started coaching thousands of other people to have really big breakthroughs too. But the big secret is what I teach is not about money.
Hmm.
I am a spiritual teacher. I am a life coach. It's been over 25 years now. And I found that it's what money represents, because money is just, it's made up. A bunch of humans got together and we got tired of carrying our cattle around, so we invented money. But what it represents are the fundamental pains of being a human being, which is our issues around lovability, our worth, and our right to exist, our safety. And what I love about working with money as what I call the pain door into the real stuff, which is total life transformation, is that money is the number one excuse that human beings give for what we can't have, do, or be. So it's a really elegant leverage point for having huge change in all of your life. And I've had such dramatic financial results with clients that I've never seen anywhere else. Clients making very, very quickly hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions of dollars.
Wow.
So, and by the way, that's good for marketing. That's all it is. Like, I care about their happiness, and the numbers are good for marketing. So I go with that. But since we're talking about purpose, and I love that topic of purpose. Purpose is not often what we think it is. Like, my life purpose isn't being a life coach, but being a life coach is very much aligned with my life purpose. And I think that the process of living just reveals more and more and more. And the big, download that I had this morning when I was thinking about this conversation we're going to have is that purpose comes from an intersection between our talent and our pain. So there is a lot of pain in the world right now, like that I have not seen firsthand in my lifetime, in my generation, like really massive events. And I'm hopeful that that is sparking a rise to purpose like we've never seen before. And I'm looking at who are my heroes. Malala, did not become the world's leading advocate for the education of girls without going through a traumatic event. Martin Luther King did not spark and fight and lead the civil rights movement in America without going through pain. Gandhi, Mother Teresa, any leader. This is the friction that creates the spark of purpose. So whatever is going on for you personally, I want that to be fuel for your empowerment instead of it being the monster that crushes you and beats you down. My work, which I call alchemy, which is the transmutation in, going back thousands of years and classical mysticism, the transmutation of lead into gold, lead into spiritual and material gold. This challenge that feels and looks so big is the key to everything you ever wanted and beyond, in money, in love, in purpose, in health, in your relationship with yourself and existence and everything. So that is my soapbox for today.
Wow, and I love that, like, because I work with people with stories, and that is often when we have gone through experiences, and I believe we are here in the Earth School. And yes, we have sometimes very, very challenging life lessons to go through. But then when we share from there and we discover, like you said, like finding the purpose, finding something meaningful that can come out from the experience that we had to go through. So I believe there is some magic and the power happening as well when we are sharing the lessons.
I think that in itself is the purpose of life, is finding a meaning and a usefulness for what happens. And our pain and our failure and our shame and all the icky stuff that a lot of spiritual teachers say, vibrate higher, stop that, all that stuff is what humanizes us so that we can have empathy and care about and help other people. It's a treasure. If it wasn't valuable, it wouldn't exist. That's a clue.
And that is a very powerful thing as well to think about, like shifting your mind to see through the value that things are valuable, experiences are valuable, and then always focusing on what I call like seeing things from soul's perspective. What are we learning here? So that is beautiful what you shared. So thank you for that. And I'd love to know though, like when you mentioned briefly that you went through some challenges with the money, with prosperity, and that kind of made you then the teacher who you are today, helping others.
Poster child, of financial failure, with like everything going for me, with the fancy education, the certifications, the movie star clients, the testimonials, great marketing, the website, the business cards, the tagline, like good student results, like really dramatic results for clients. And I was still managing to make little to no money because I was that good at repelling money. And I smile about it now, but I wanted to kill myself at the time because it was so baffling and frustrating and infuriating and hopeless.
Yeah.
And I would take class after class. I would get certification after certification. Like, oh my God, the skill sets that I have, because I thought, well, if I get that, then I can charge. And that wasn't the problem. So, and then I took classes in marketing, and I took classes in overcoming sales objections, and I was good at all of it. And it didn't matter because my power to repel money was so much stronger than any skill set or action I could take. And at the lowest point, I was struggling to make $100 a month living in one of the most expensive cities in the world.
So what was there? And thank you for opening up and sharing those moments when you went through like really the desperation that we So many. I've been there too in my own
Doing
journey.
everything right. And I was doing everything I was told. And I kept throwing more money at more classes, working with a coach, more marketing, and it was not translating. And by the way, that's a big clue.
Mm,
Whatever it is, whether it's money or it's love or it's health, when you're doing everything you're capable of doing and everything you're supposed to be doing and you aren't getting the results, that is a clue
yeah, like,
that you are protecting yourself from what you want. And I would also say that you are not an idiot, that you are actually very wise, and you're protecting yourself from a real painful threat. And to shift, to get a different result, you have to make what you want safe, especially for women. Change happens at the speed of safety. I had to find out, and I was shocked. I had to find out why money wasn't safe for me. And when I got it and I changed it, my results were instantaneous. Within 24 hours, I had 4 people hiring me at double what I'd ever charged before. I have made millions of dollars since. And I still do the process, and I still do the process. I did the process with love. I was 45 years old, single, never married. I did the process with love to find out why I was repelling love. And that, I was so shocked at how dangerous and painful that was when I did my process. And I met my husband 2 months later. We've been married 25 times in 5 years. We're going for 100 weddings in 100 countries. His idea. He was worth the wait. Because, and here's the thing, is like when you've been pushing so long and getting nowhere for so long, when you finally break through, the results can be huge because you have all that energy built up for so many years. So what I know we have very, very little time, so I can only give you the brief cliff notes, and I'll point you to where you can dive in deeper. But I have a 6-step process that I call financial alchemy that was originally based on my own experience that happened sort of accidentally. Then I reverse engineered it. And then I was getting all these clients, not for this. I was not marketing myself as, you know, this wealth coach or money coach, but coaching human beings. I had clients who had money obstacles, so I would try it out on them. And full disclosure, when the first maybe 6 months that I was trying it out, I was like, why isn't it working for them? And I had to learn what needs to happen to make this work. And then I got really, really good at it. And over the years, the results just keep getting bigger. So I'm going to try and squeeze like 17 years into a few minutes. And just know I'll give you as much as I can. So step number 1, and this goes way, this may feel counterintuitive, especially to my law of attraction friends. We want to dive into the muck. It's like, take off your positive thinking hat temporarily. It's really important. It will not help you here. In fact, it will get in the way. It's really important. The first step of alchemy is an egregio, the blackening. It's to separate what doesn't work and focus on that. And you're creating energy and momentum and leverage like a slingshot. The farther you go into what doesn't work, the more tension you create to catapult you where you want to go. So we want to take a look at the problem, like a doctor looking for the cancer. So step number 1 is uncover the root cause. And the big surprising thing is the root cause of your money problem is not your money story. You can start there, but I've never found the root cause. It's like saying the root cause of my cancer is cancer. No, it's the stuff before. And what is the stuff before? It's what money represents. And I touched on this earlier. Any issues around love, not being lovable, being rejected, being wounded, being betrayed, being hurt, stuff with parents, stuff with lovers, stuff with friends, teachers, anything that made you feel not lovable, ashamed, anything that made you feel or makes you feel now worthless, powerless, not valued, not valuable. And finally, anything that has ever made you feel unsafe is going to show up in your relationship with money. So accidents, or just look at stuff going on that's scary, that is going to show up in your relationship with money, because your relationship with money is your relationship with life. It's in everything, and especially love. Like, money issues are love issues. We do not feel loved by the universe when we don't have the resources that we need to thrive. So you want to dig into anything that has ever made you feel unloved, unworthy, or unsafe, especially stuff that doesn't look like it has to do with money, like eating disorders and accidents, and just things that may never have occurred to you. I had a client about 15 years ago, sweetest man, was like, when he was maybe 3 years old, kind of playing with a little girl, checking out each other's parts the way children do. And his mother came in, and he was so embarrassed and ashamed in that moment. We have no idea how his mother felt or what she said. We know his reaction, because it created an imprint that showed up in his relationship with women and with money decades and decades later. That was his root cause. By the way, and I'll go through the other steps of the process, but I will jump to the punchline right now. He made $1.5 million 6 weeks later. Right? So that's why I say, what I love about the process is that it is way more interesting than our logical, rational, problem solving mind. It's much more global, a lot more intuitive. It goes to our mindset isn't going to fix anything. Like, if mindset worked, nobody would have to go on a diet again. It's the cravings and the feelings and the self-protections and all the stuff going on unconsciously that gets our results. And so this process speaks directly to your unconscious. So step number 1, uncover the root cause. Step number 2, this is where it gets weird. When you have built like this nice court case that life sucks, then you want to blame it on a villain. And it really, really helps to have an imaginary villain. We do not want to make it your parents, even if your parents were villainous, because of step number 3 makes that a problem. But step number 2 is, what if my relationship with money, this power broker, puppeteer, monstrous being that traffics human beings and hurts animals and pollutes water and does stuff to me, what if this was a person? Who would that person be? And you want that person to be really big, really scary, really odious, all bad, all bad, then gets a really big negative emotional reaction from you. Make it personal. We can talk about money beliefs for 30 years and it's all up here. Doesn't change anything. But when our relationship with life feels like a person, we know that as human beings, it suddenly becomes real and we get a lot more information. And then in step number 3, you annihilate that person, because that person will destroy you. That person exists to destroy you, to suck all of your desire to live. That is step number 2, make the root cause a person. I call that the money monster. Make it real, make it give you a really big bad feeling. That's necessary. It lights the neurology that allows us to rewire your brain in a much better way. So step number 2, make it a person. Step number 3, destroy that person. And I attract the love and light vegan crowd.
Yeah.
And I had a client in Spain many years ago who's like, well, I can't destroy the imaginary monster. I'm a vegan. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, because by rejecting the monster and everything the monster represents, everything that does not belong in your life, you choose yourself. You choose what you want in your life by saying no to everything else. So destroy the monster by any means necessary. And that creates a vacuum. And it's necessary for the monster to be all gone, no bloody bits, no traces, no energetic trace. I say the bed is not big enough for the monster and the honey and you, because what we want is when the monster is gone and you've got this empty space, that's when you have space for a completely new, clean, all good, wonderful, supportive relationship with money that is in perfect agreement with your highest values, your best self, and love. And it will feel more like a relationship with love than it feels like a relationship with money. That is one of the ways I know that it's working, because it really is a relationship with love. It's going to be a person who loves you. If you like guys, it's a guy. If you like girls, it's a girl, because there's also something magical about that, ooh, you know, the butterflies, ooh, he's cute, you know, that kind of thing. Really heals a lot of broken, twisted bits in ourselves around money, around relationship with ourselves, around relationship with love, the whole caboodle, real life force energy there. So that's step 4 is meet your money honey. Your money honey loves you. You don't have to do anything to be loved by your money honey. But we go to step number 5, where you ask your money honey what your money honey needs to stay with you. So here's the rule. Your money honey does love you and wants to stay with you, or it's not a new relationship. It's still a money monster. But because you have a body and you chose to incarnate on this planet, you have all the power. The money honey is imaginary. It's real, because it's a real relationship and a real dynamic that produces real results, but it's also all in your mind. So you are not going to sit on the couch and say, rescue me, because that isn't what we're here for. But you are going to say, what do you need from me? You want a money honey that feels so real, that you love so much, that you want to keep this person in your life, and it doesn't feel like money at all. It's just like, oh my God, will you dig this? You know? And you say, so what do you need from me? Because you have the power to break this person's heart by pushing him away or her away. And the great thing is, when you make it a person who feels so real that you can like smell him and feel him and hear him and touch him, and you ask a question and you're relaxed and you're open, you get the best answers.
Mm-hmm.
So that is step number 5, is having a conversation with your money honey. And those conversations always put the ball in your court. What do you want me to do? What do I need to do to feel less anxious? You know, what do you need me to do so you can stay with me the way you want to? What do I need to learn here? Great way to get into wisdom and to see yourself through the eyes of the other. Because, you know, we're just a mess of feelings. And sometimes I feel good about myself. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did that. And, you know, my value on myself is going to go up and down like, you know, a magnitude 8 earthquake, you know, Richter graph. So, but when I look at myself through the eyes of the money honey, I see my real value. I see my real power. I see my real resourcefulness, even if I, Morgana, couldn't see it myself. That's what I want for you. And then finally, icing on the cake, the bow at the top, mixing metaphors. The final step is action. Step number 6 is, if you want physical change and you want to say physical results, you need to take physical action, because it lets you know and the universe know that this relationship has changed. So some concrete, measurable action that lets you know that this relationship is different. It can be an action related to money. It can be balance your checkbook or pay a bill or something, call a client, something like that. It can also be take a dance class or do your laundry. What's so cool, and by the laundry is a funny story, because I had an attorney client who was going to go out of town, and her money honey said, no, I want you to stay home and do your laundry. I was like, okay. And while she was doing it, she got a call in, a $20,000 client.
There you go.
Yeah, the action is very, very interesting. I have a lot of stories. My client Janet in Canada, her money honey kept telling her to go for a walk, and she was like, but I'm busy, I need to make money. And he said, go take a walk. And so she kept putting it off and was like hitting a wall. Nothing was changing. And then she took a walk and picked up a client.
There you go.
Or higher than she'd ever paid before. Client Katie, her money honey wanted her to go ice skating, and but I'm too busy, I have debt. And she put it off and she put it off. And then she went out ice skating with her 10-year-old kid. They had this amazing connection. She came home and she got a phone call giving her $10,000 without even asking. So it's in the quality of the conversation with the money honey, and every step makes the next step possible. So you can't skip on uncovering the root cause, or creating a monster, or destroying the money monster, or really feeling and connecting with the money honey like a real person, and learning how to talk to the money honey and hear responses. So that's the really brief
clip. I know, and I so appreciate you like putting all those steps in such a brief format, so at least people can get the feel of this. And like, that was brilliant, and we can also now take action, do those steps, and like go and work through them. And if people want to know, like, okay, this is great, but I need help and I need support here to work through those steps. So how can people find you, more about you and your work? What is the best way to reach out to you?
My website, morganarae.com, just my name. I'm sure you'll have it posted.com. Resources, starting with a 4-part easy peasy video series. I also have like a self-assessment quiz. I have resources on my blog, but I would start with the 4-part video series. Start there. Some of you may know you want coaching right away, and of course you can reach out to me for that. But I also really, really love people to dive into the material first, because that makes the best client. One of my clients, Pam from Florida, bought my book that's on Amazon, and you can find that at my website, and did the book 2 years in a row and had her first $250,000 month of sales on her own using my workbook without ever calling me. Then called me after that and was like, well, we know we're a good match, and it became one of my favorite clients of all time. So before we get married, go to my website and taste the materials there. And then if you want more help, then we can talk.
Beautiful. And thank you for sharing all those resources, because that is a beautiful way to get started and get already the value. I already found so much value from your time here today, like sharing wisdom.
About Pam, just because I forget to say this, like, so when she came to me, she still was like financially anxious. She was an employee. She had all this debt. Now she owns the multi-million-dollar company that she used to work for, all in the course of a year.
Wow, it's possible. And that's something I love to say about people. It's possible. It is, like, if you have the calling in your heart, your dreams, what you want to do. So there are ways and means to make it happen, and there is so much support available for you. And thank you, Morgana, for providing those resources for us. And now, as we are wrapping up, I would love to ask you, do you have a special message that you would like to share?
That I haven't shared already. Let me think.
Yes, you have shared a lot, but if there is one more thing.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot lately about the wheel of life in the tarot. And there's a lot of pressure in personal development that everything's always supposed to be going up. And what I really want to say is, to the person who is feeling like you're down at the bottom of the wheel of fortune, is that it does come up, that it does get better. This is where you get the tools for your purpose, and it does come back up. Uh, Stick around long enough for it to come back up, get tools, get help, and you may be birthing something really beautiful that the world needs right now. So I'm switching metaphors again because I do that. It's like the seasons. Some of you are in spring and summer and bountiful harvest, and some of you are in winter where it looks dead, but the life is going on gangbusters below the surface, being ready to be born again in spring, but you need to nurture it. So that is my very long-winded, off-the-cuff channeled message for you today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Morgana. Thank you for your time and all the wisdom you shared here and all the work that you do. And thank you for watching Passive Purpose Interview Show. If you want support on your path, you can also join Lightworkers Who Succeed on Purpose Facebook group. And I'm sending you so much light and love, and stay well and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye for now.